We are only a month into the new year and we already have new makeup trends dominating our social media feeds. In this video, I'll be doing a full face of 2021 makeup trends using drugstore makeup. Now, these are specifically my favorite makeup trends that are gaining popularity, so hopefully I can inspire you to try something new in your routine this year. We're just gonna get straight into it, but first, if you're new here, hi, my name is Miranda. Welcome to my channel where we talk all things budget beauty. If that sounds interesting to you, then become the newest member of the Slashed Squad by hitting subscribe and the bell icon. The first trend that I'm already seeing take over in 2021, both in makeup and skincare, is blue light protection. Blue light is what's emitted from the screens that we're looking at all day, every day, our computers, our smartphones, and our tablets. Blue light can contribute to dark spots, hyperpigmentation, and the breakdown of collagen that can cause wrinkles. So glad we have to worry about that now. The first time that I personally saw blue light being addressed in cosmetics was with the Physicians Formula Natural Defense line. I did a whole video about this last March, but this line actually offers SPF as well as blue light protection and pollution protection. So today I'm going to be using the primer from the line. It's called the Protect Your Prime Oil. It has SPF 15. Now, despite this being an oil, it's actually very thin and sinks into the skin very quickly. It does not feel like you're putting a heavy layer of product on. A drugstore foundation you may not have known is also anti-blue light is the Revlon Photoready Candid foundation. This is marketed more so as an anti-pollution foundation, so we get that pollution protection as well, but on the back it does say anti-blue light. This is a really nice skin finish foundation. And another big trend we're seeing this year is that fresh face and more so dewy skin. Now, as somebody who has combo skin, dewy finishes do intimidate me a lot just because I don't want to start out dewy and then get more and more greasy looking throughout the day. So starting out with something that is a little bit more of a radiant skin finish versus all out dewy or glassy is a little bit more my speed. Like you can see, this foundation does give me quite a nice glow, but it's not over the top. Now, this is considered medium buildable coverage, and as you saw in the beginning, I had some acne, some angry spots. My skin did not appreciate the recent ice cream binge I went on, but it's doing a really, really good job at sort of evening that out. And I'll show you what it looks like when you go in with a second layer for coverage. It doesn't bring you to like full, but you're nearly there. Like that's enough coverage for me to feel like okay. The next 2021 makeup trend is actually an anti-trend. We are done with those big triangles of concealer under the eyes. All that's doing is, one, having you apply way too much product, which will inevitably lead to creasing, and two, it's bringing the highlight sort of low on your face. Depending on your face shape, it can drag everything down, which is the opposite of what we want to do with highlight. So this technique was recently made popular by Robert Welsh, who is a pro makeup artist here on YouTube. You may have seen it, but this is gonna be the new trendy way to do your concealer, and it's actually gonna be effective at lifting the eyes and also avoiding creasing. So we're gonna start out with a little dot of concealer right here near the inner corner. This is where we have a little bit of shadow that we want to lighten up, and then we're gonna put a little bit at the corner of the eye, and this is also going to brighten up a shadow and lift the eye. By the way, I just used my e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. So just blending that in, focusing on those two areas first, where we dotted the concealer, and then with whatever left on the sponge or the brush, you can kind of go in and fill in that gap. And this is so much less product than we see people using like in Instagram tutorials and whatnot, but you really don't need more than this. You can already see a huge difference between my two eyes, and we're keeping the concealer off of the apples of the cheeks. Especially when you're using full coverage concealers, you see so many people putting on, camo concealer or Shape Tape in this huge triangular layer, and it's just not needed. Less is more in 2021. I'm gonna take a second to do my brows with the BH Cosmetics Brow Duo Powder. Now, as far as brow trends go, we're still seeing a big boom of the bushy brow, especially looking a little bit more unkempt or feathery. Now, my brows never wanna cooperate with the whole trend of like just brushing them up and having them be sort of like that soap brow look. My brows just don't do that. So as far as like a softer, bushier brow, I'll just reach for powder. It's a little bit less sharp than using a pencil, but I still get to fill in the areas where I'm sparse. So this is my soft bushy brow look, and it just goes to show that not every makeup trend is gonna work for every person. The next 2021 makeup trend that I'm sure we all need right now is being a little bit more generous with bronzer. I don't know about you, but with the stay-at-home orders, I didn't actually spend as much time outside in 2020. I also didn't go on the vacations in which I would have gotten sun. So I'm looking a little bit paler than I usually do. In fact, I've gone up or down. I've gotten lighter in almost all of my foundation shades. So I will not be social distancing from bronzer this year. This is the Physicians Formula Organic Wear Sculpting Bronzer, one of my favorite cream bronzers to use. And I'm gonna use this to add definition around the face and in the cheek area. Now I will be using bronzer again later. Like I said, we are not going to be strangers with bronzer this year, but this will just sort of add some color to our base. Oh, I love this product. It just blends out so beautifully on the skin. I mean, look at the difference. It's crazy what a little bronzer can do. This 2021 makeup trend is going to help you seriously streamline your routine, embracing monochromatic makeup. Monochromatic makeup is when you use the same shade for different parts of your makeup, so matching your eyelids to your blush to your lips. And one of my tricks to achieving monochromatic makeup is actually using the same blush as an eyeshadow and on the cheeks. So today I have this Pixi palette. It's their Nuance Quartette in Honey Nectar, and I'm gonna be using the blush as an eyeshadow. I'm gonna go into this top left blush shade. It's a really pretty medium pink, and just brush that over the lids. Now you can totally just use the one blush shade, but since I'm using a palette, I'll be able to add a little bit of pop with the sparkly blush that's complementary and the same shade. So I'm just switching my brush to blend that out. Now, another interpretation of monochromatic makeup that's really popular right now is just focusing on the eyes, creating a whole look with different shades of the same color. So I've seen that a lot as well, kind of getting popular on social media, as well as just the products that are coming out from different brands, where we're seeing a lot of eyeshadow palettes that have several shades of the same color to create one really blue look, really purple look, etc. Now that we have this first shade blended out, I'm gonna dip into the shimmery blush in this same palette, and I'm just gonna tap this in the middle. Just gives us a little bit of something interesting so it's not such a flat look, although that is what is trendy now. I just like a little bit of a pop. Now we also have a highlighter in this palette. I'm just gonna go and dip into that to hit my brow bone and inner corner. So we're basically getting like our full look out of this one palette. It's 16 bucks, not bad at all. And there are two shade options with this palette. This one is a little bit better for like medium, a little bit deeper skin. The other one was a little light on me when it came to the bronzer. To finish my eyes, I'm just gonna add a little bit of brown liner. This is the Essence Extreme Lasting Liner. This is something that I've loved to do, and I actually learned it from Kendall Jenner's makeup routine, which I recreated in a video using drugstore products. What I've been doing lately is just taking the brown liner and adding a tiny bit to the outer corner of my eye and then smudging it out softly, which creates this really beautiful shadowy effect with some definition at the corner that sort of elongates your eye. What's funny is that I used to do this technique using black eyeliner, and that just kind of ends up with more of a grungy look and more of a black smoky eye look. And I could not believe how different it looked just by switching to brown. I've been doing this even more than winged eyeliner, which used to be my go-to for every single makeup look. I never felt complete unless I had a wing. Me switching to this sort of soft liner look actually goes against another 2021 makeup trend, which is really bold graphic eyeliner. I'm kind of moving backwards from that because that used to be what I preferred, and now this is what I prefer. Just added a little bit of mascara. Now continuing with this Pixi palette, I'm gonna go into the bronzer and add a little bit more. I'm gonna go over slightly where I added the cream bronzer. We are gonna be bronzed to the gods. Now, keeping this monochromatic makeup look going, I'm gonna go into this blush that we had used first. And another big 2021 makeup trend that, you know, I'm not so sure I'm sold on, although I do find myself doing it more and more, is heavy blush. Now, obviously, this is a comeback from the 80s, but we are seeing a lot of blush in 2021, not only on the cheeks, but also on the nose to create sort of this sun-kissed slash slightly sunburnt look. But let's just start off by getting this color on the cheeks, really bringing this look together, matching the eyes. It's funny because this is one of those beauty trends that people from the 80s look back on and are like, ugh. And I remember seeing photos of my mom in the 80s with a ton of blush and I'm like, what the heck? But it's back, baby. That's how trends work. So I'm just gonna go slightly heavier than I normally would. And I'll add maybe a little bit to the nose. There we go. See, it just makes you look like you have this wash of sun-touched skin. We'll come back to the monochromatic trend in just a second, but we got a highlight. Now, I'm not gonna go into the palette for the highlight. I'm actually gonna be using a liquid highlighter. This is the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Glotion. This is something that you can mix into your skincare, your foundation, or use it as a liquid highlighter, which is what I'm gonna be doing today. So I'm just gonna add a tiny little drop on my finger and start blending it in. This is my go-to way to blend in liquid highlight. I just feel like I have more control. And this is sort of my alternative to dewy skin. Like I can get that radiance with a product like this without worrying about my makeup being shiny all over. I'm getting the shine where I want it. And what's great about this Lumi Glotion is it highlights without adding like glitter or noticeable shimmer. So it does end up looking like just your skin's radiance. I'm gonna add a little bit on the tip of my nose, Cupid's bow area, basically anywhere where I want just a little extra glow. Yeah, I love this effect. I feel like I can just have a little bit more control over where my glow is going with this. Let's finish the lips to tie this monochromatic look together. Now, another big trend that I'm seeing with lips specifically in 2021 is using liner and gloss instead of just a lipstick. So I have the Kokie retractable lip liner in pink mauve, and I'm gonna be layering that with the Essence Shine 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 gloss in Smile Sparkle Shine. And hopefully these shades match what we've got going on the face, because that's the point. Now, another makeup technique that's blowing up for 2021 is softening the Cupid's bow. And I've done this in a couple videos so far this year, but instead of defining the Cupid's bow, which is this dip in the upper lip, the trend now is to make it more of a subtle curve. And it does tend to give you more of a plumper lip look. So I'm just gonna start on one side, come down slightly, and go down the other side. And sometimes I see people just going over their Cupid's bow completely and just rounding it out. That doesn't look great on me, so I do still kind of curve it down a little bit. But what I used to do, I mean, up until last year, was really carve it out, define it, make it more of a sharp point, sort of Betty Boop style. I got some of that highlighter on my lips. And after I outline my lips, I'll slightly just fill them in to make them a bit more even, since I'm not using a lipstick. And then I'll go in with this gloss. Now this is like a wet look lip gloss. It's gonna be super shiny. Ooh, this is looking a little bit more purple than the eyeshadow. Let me grab another shade. Okay, I think this shade will be better. This is Think Pink. That was just looking way too purple. There we go. Yeah, that's better. Voila. So I'll be using the NYX Dewy Finish Setting Spray, just adding a little bit more of that glow. Like I said earlier, I have combo skin, and I feel like using a dewy setting spray is a little less intense and more comfortable for me than using a full-on dewy foundation. And here's the completed full face of 2021 makeup trends. I wanna know which of these trends you're excited to try out, and which do you think will actually last? Tell me in the comments below. Today's shout out goes to Kathleen. Thanks for being a member of the Squad. And join me over in this video next where I share 5 surprising drugstore dupes for high-end makeup. I'll see you over there. Bye!